You're kicking back under an umbrella on a sunny day, feeling cool in the shade. You think you're safe, right? Well, that feeling might be a total illusion. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on whether your umbrella is actually protecting you from the sun or if it's just hiding the damage. So let's get right to it. Is that thing over your head a shield, or is it more like a sieve, just letting all that invisible damage pour right through? I mean, we all just assume an umbrella is a solid barrier against the sun. But when we're talking about the invisible threat of UV radiation, what's actually getting through the gaps might just shock you.
And boom, here's the answer. And it is pretty shocking. Get this, a standard umbrella, the kind most of us probably have kicking around, it allows a staggering 80 to 90% of UV radiation to pass right through the fabric. Yep, that means your trusty rain umbrella is doing next to nothing to stop the most damaging rays from hitting your skin.
Okay, so this is absolutely the key takeaway right here. Shade is not a shield. See, our senses, they just can't detect UV radiation. We feel cooler in the shade because, the umbrella is blocking the bright visible light and some of that heat. But here's the thing, it was designed to stop water, not radiation. So that cool feeling, it's giving us this false sense of security, all while that invisible UV light is still streaming right on through. So to really get a handle on the risk, we have to know our enemy, right? And it's not just one type of UV ray. Nope. There are two very different kinds that reach us down here on Earth, and they attack our skin in totally different ways. One gives you that classic painful sunburn, but the other one, it's way, way more sinister.
All right, let's break them down. Just take a look at how differently these two operate. Over on the right, you've got your UVB rays. Think B for burn. These are the ones that hit the surface and cause that immediate, painful sunburn we all know and hate. But then, over on the left, you have the UVA rays, and these guys are sneaky. They go deeper into the skin, causing long-term damage like aging and wrinkles, and, this is the crazy part, they pass right through clouds, glass, and yep, you guessed it, your standard umbrella.
And here's exactly why that difference is so important. Just look at this breakdown. A full 95%, 95 of the UV radiation that actually reaches you is that deep, penetrating, aging UVA type. The UVB rays that we notice more, the ones that cause the sunburn, they're just a tiny fraction of our daily exposure. So we're getting hammered with the most damaging rays most of the time without even realizing it.
Yeah, let that one sink in for a second. 80% of the visible signs of skin aging, we're talking wrinkles, saggy skin, all that stuff, is caused by the very rays that your rain umbrella does absolutely nothing to stop. This is why really understanding protection is so critical.
Okay, so if a standard umbrella is basically useless, what's the solution? Well, thankfully, there's a specific rating system designed for fabric that tells us exactly how protective it is. It's called the ultraviolet protection factor, or just UPF for short.
So UPF is really the gold standard here. You've probably heard of SPF in your sunscreen, right? Well, SPF mostly measures protection against those UVB burning rays. UPF, on the other hand, is the whole shebang. It's a comprehensive rating that measures how well a fabric blocks both UVA and UVB rays. This number is what truly tells you how safe you are under that fabric.
Okay, to really put this in perspective, think about it like this. Your typical rain umbrella, it might have a UPF of around 10. What that means is that 1/10 of all UV radiation is still passing right through and hitting your skin. That is a huge amount of exposure, especially over time.
But now, look at the difference. With a properly rated UPF 50 fabric, only 1/50th, 1 out of 50, of the UV radiation makes it to your skin. The level of protection is it's exponentially higher. We've gone from a sieve to a true, honest-to-goodness shield.
And here's the official breakdown of what those numbers actually mean. As you can see on this chart, a UPF rating of 40 to 50 plus is considered excellent, and that means the fabric is certified to block over 97.5% of all UV rays. That's the number you really want to be looking for.
So what's the secret sauce? What's the real difference between a protective fabric and one that's basically useless? Well, it all comes down to the science of the material itself. There are a few key physical properties that determine how well a fabric can stop those UV rays in their tracks.
Okay, there are actually several factors at play here, everything from the color of the fabric to special coatings. But as you can see, the single most important one, the real MVP, is weave density. Just think of it this way, the tighter the weave, the smaller the holes for UV rays to sneak through. It's really that simple.
And this really is the fundamental principle. Just like it says here, weave density is the #1 factor. A dense, tightly woven fabric creates a much stronger physical barrier. It's always going to be more protective than a loose one, no matter what color it is.
Now this next part is fascinating because our intuition about color can be totally wrong. Check out this chart. A black canopy? Yeah, it's great at absorbing UV, but it also absorbs a ton of heat, which radiates down and makes you feel hotter. A white canopy reflects visible light, so it feels cooler, but it can actually let more UV pass through the weave. But then you have a silver coating, and it does something completely unique. It reflects both the heat and the UV away from you.
So the crucial takeaway here is that reflection is way better than absorption. A silver coating acts like a tiny mirror, bouncing those harmful UV rays and the heat-causing infrared light away before they can even get into the fabric. It keeps you both safer and cooler. It's the real winner.
Okay, so we've got the science down. Now let's get practical. How can you take all this knowledge and use it to find an umbrella that is a true shield and not just a flimsy sieve? All right, here are 3 super simple tests you can do with any umbrella you have at home. First one is the easiest. It's the light test. Just hold it up to the sun. Can you see tiny little pinpoints of light coming through? If you can, then you better believe UV rays can get through too. A truly protective umbrella will be almost completely opaque and will cast a really sharp, dark shadow on the ground.
And when you're out shopping for a new one, use this as your guide. The most important thing is to just ignore all the vague marketing terms like UV resistant. You want to look for that official UPF 50+ rating right on the tag. That, plus a super tight weave and ideally a reflective silver lining, those are the non-negotiables for real protection.
So the next time you reach for an umbrella on a sunny day, you'll know exactly what to look for. It's not just about creating a little bit of shade, it's about creating a genuine shield. And the real question is your umbrella up to the test?